Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as TA Summers. Welcome to my channel. This is my first time uploading a video under my new Booktube channel. So I decided to use this video to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I'm really excited to be able to share this with all of you, so let's go ahead and jump into the questions. So the very first question is, why did you start this channel? I wanted another medium to be able to talk about my love and experience of reading books across a wide spectrum of different genres and age groups. So that's basically my motivation for being able to start this channel. I have been wanting to start a booktube channel for the longest time, for years now, and it's gotten off to a rough start with a lot of false starts and stops with technical issues and things like that. So I'm really excited to be able to pursue this new medium and be able to share more of my opinions in a different format than what I'm usually used to, and being able to share like different recommendations, maybe a little bit of a different reading experience that many people are used to. So the next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So definitely my perspective in terms of being able to review and digest different forms of media is that I do deep dives into everything that I read. I love reading a different range of books, like whether it's sometimes middle grade, but not as much. Definitely young adult, definitely adult fiction, whether it's sci-fi and fantasy, which is one of my first loves, whether it's poetry, whether it's mystery, suspense, thriller, things like that. I like to dive into a wide variety of different literature, and one of the reasons why I wanted to join BookTube specifically is seeing a lot of my peers and people I've been inspired by reviewing different books, but I also wanted to be able to give light to many other books that don't really get as much mileage or are talked about as much on BookTube. So I definitely feel that I can bring a different perspective and be able to share some things with you in terms of being able to talk about books in a deeper scale and on a different level. So the third question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? Definitely, it's a bit of a different experience for me. I'm used to being on YouTube, but not necessarily in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So this is a different experience for me. You may have known me from previous videos that have been uploaded to YouTube on my sister's channel, which is Writing Through Rose-Tinted Glasses, also known as Rosepels 1984. I was the voice behind the Liquid Story Binder tutorials way back when, that I'm still like in the process of trying to redo and get into more contemporary times. But I've been on YouTube for the longest time, and I've wanted to start a booktube channel of my own beyond being a book blogger. So it's definitely something that I am really excited to be able to explore, talking about books in a different medium and being able to expand to different have conversations about books with many other different people. So the next question that I have under the BookTube newbie tag is, why do you love reading? That is probably the most difficult question to answer in a like brief response because I've loved reading ever since I was a little girl. I usually tell the story of the first time I started reading, like on my parents' lap when I was 3 years old. Like I just picked up a random book and just started reading it to my parents. So the love of reading that I have has started from when I was a little girl, when both of my parents encouraged me to read widely and fully, and reading different types of books. I Ever since then I have nurtured a long love for reading, um, from even when whether it's reading children's books, whether it was middle grade, whether it was young adult, and even getting into adult fiction progressively over time, being able to experience the way that you are immersed in different worlds and different people's experiences, even people who are like myself, and having to experience and being able to share experiences with people of my same identity. I think that's a wonderful thing, and being able to build empathy and being able to experience um, different worlds and different possibilities through reading and literature is just a phenomenal thing to do, and I will never stop loving it. So the next question on the booktube tag is, what books or series got you into reading? That is a very good question, and I can say that it depends on when you ask me, in terms of what stage I was in with my particular reading experiences. I remember very early on, I was into the Encyclopedia Brown series. As a kid, I loved Lois Lowry's The Giver. I loved Lois Lowry's Number of the Stars. I remember also loving a lot of Virginia Hamilton books, Walter Dean Myers. Um, see, so many different things. My first fantasy series that I really loved was Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials series, and that was kind of a gateway for me to get into other books within the realm of fantasy and sci-fi. Um, I remember very early on that I um, read the Hobbit as well as the Lord of the Rings series like that um, as I grew older, and also getting into deep dives like Leave It to Me to Forget, one of my favorite fantasy series that I read as a young adult. So, in the mention of Virginia Hamilton, I love the Justice and Her Brothers series. I love The House of Dyers Dreer, and its respective sequel, though I did not read the sequel until much later in life because I didn't know there was a sequel. Um, I remember also really liking a lot of Anne McCaffrey's stuff. I remember Dragonflight and that respective series I enjoyed. Um, there are other ones that I can probably like cite as I start developing this YouTube channel over time, but I'll definitely make mention of that in videos to come in terms of what influenced my reading and when. So the next question on the Booktube Newbie Tag that is asked is number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I think being a new booktuber and having been in the community as an observer um, over the past several years, I wanted to start a booktube channel for the longest time. Um, and struggled a bit to know what the best software to use was, what how booktubers tend to do time management in terms of um, parsing out their time for planning or parsing out their time for filming, for parsing out their time for being able to edit and upload things to YouTube. I'm still trying to find my feet as much as I possibly can, even though I'm not new to seeing like how booktubers craft their channels and their content and things like that. Being able to do that myself is kind of like the daunting experience of being a newbie to booktube. But that would probably be the question that I would ask my favorite booktubers if I had one to pose. So, in the same vein as the previous question, the next question and the seventh question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? Definitely the time management piece, because trying to achieve that balance of being able to film videos with a busy schedule and being able to um, craft the most unique content and being able to deliver that content in a way that is most helpful to people who watch my videos and things like that, I think would be the most valuable thing to consider. So I would say that the most challenging thing is just being able to achieve that schedule. I think probably like I will just have to be patient with myself as I'm adjusting and learning and trying to get to a sense of normal in terms of being not just being in front of a camera, because usually I'm behind it and narrating, and then also being able to have a schedule that works for me, that I can provide consistent content over time. Because I know, like, I've had situations where I've wanted to put out content and I've wanted to do certain projects, but things come up, life happens. So I'm definitely just going to give myself grace in terms of being able to see those challenges through. And if I have to readjust, then I have to readjust. So the eighth question is, when did you start reading? I did mention in before in this video that the very first time I started reading to my parents was on their lap, reading the newspaper, reading a picture book at the age of 3. So that's a hazy memory, not just like from what I recall, but from what my parents had told me. But if you would ask me like when I started reading more regularly, I can remember times in kindergarten when I would pick up the picture books in the classroom or in my elementary school library, and just started reading. And then I also remember in elementary school that I picked up a lot of the Scholastic Fair books that were really appealing to me. And then that love continued through middle school and high school and college, and even when I was taking graduate school courses and things like that. So um, I've had literally a lifelong love of reading. So I don't like, I even if I can't remember exactly the very first book that I read, um, I've been reading for a long time. I want to say that probably Thank You, Jackie Robinson. I don't remember the name of the author, but I'll probably post a picture of that up here. So the next question, and this is the ninth question on the Booktube Newbie Tag. This is, where do you read? Everywhere, literally everywhere. On my bed, sometimes when I'm commuting to work. Let's see, I sometimes read in my kitchen when I'm trying to cook things. Like in between, if I know that I have like a pot boiling and I'm standing in the kitchen, I will either have an audiobook going, or I will stand away from the stove and like watch stuff cook while I'm waiting for things to boil. Like I'll have a book with me, like, and just reading it there. I have read in libraries, countless libraries. I love being able to go to my local library and be able to sit down to read for hours. That's kind of been my experience for a lifelong time. I have read in, when I was in college, I frequently read in the student union, my college's student unions. I also have read basically everywhere. I think that's probably sums it up quite the best. So the next question, the 10th question on the BookTube Newbie Tag list of questions is, what kinds of books do you like to read? Almost everything. Like, I have a wide range of genres that I read from and age groups that I read from. I usually don't, like, every now and again I may pick up a children's book if I know that someone that I know needs a recommendation, or if I just want to peruse it for as a part of research, or something that like looks fun and I just want to pick it up. But usually the age groups that I stick to are young adult and adult books. And every now and again I will pick up a middle grade book if it suits my fancy, or like I said, if I'm doing research, or if it's something that I'm really interested in. My first love in both reading and writing has been poetry, so I will pick up poetry collections and I will talk about those as I read them. I also have a love for sci-fi and fantasy. I love being able to deep dive into different worlds and different realms, and seeing the expanse of imagination that goes into that genre. I love mystery, suspense, thrillers. When it comes to horror, I don't necessarily do body horror, but I do love psychological horror. That's my jam. But I will try other divisions of horror if it's an author that I know, or if it's an intriguing concept that I have not experienced before. I also do I will do literary fiction like every now and again in terms of stuff like so. In other words, I will pick up almost anything that people put it on my plate with very few exceptions. If it's a book that is triggering for me, I may take a step back from that, or may not be gravitate to picking that up. But I will usually read beyond my bounds if it's within my ability to do so. And the final question of this Booktube Newbie Tag video will be, what does your book collection look like? I have literally book stacks of books, bookcases, even the ones that you see behind me here is just one book collection um among several that are in my place. So like this is not the only thing. Like I don't know if you can see this. um yeah, I can't angle my camera to be able to show you like the whole bookcase that's behind me, but this is just one bookcase of in my place among several, and I even have books in boxes and cases and things that are like like that I slide underneath my bed. So basically there are books everywhere in our in my place, and it's a vast one. It spans very many genres, and I'm not shy about being able to share my experiences with other people, and like what books are in my collection. I think I did a declutter, or no, not a declutter video. It was a collections um accounting for like trying to look at the books in my collection, being able to count how many books I owned way back when on my Instagram, and I had over 1,100 books, and about of those 1,100 books I've read probably about 40% of my collection. It's probably a little bit less than that since I've bought more books, but I also cycle through the books that I have to make more room for shelf space. If I find that I'm not going to read another one of my books that I own, then I will give that to my community, or I will sell it, or give it to somebody that I know. So that's basically it. So we are done with the Booktube Newbie Tag video. Wow, that actually went pretty quickly. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content and see what I can contribute to the Booktube community, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to receive notifications. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. I hope all of you have a pleasant day. Bye.